Honorable Predecessor, colleagues of the Cabinet, friends and family of Trinidad and Tobago, constituents of St. Augustine. What a wonderful evening it is to be with you. How wonderful it is for the forces that created the People's Partnership to come together today to recognize the work we have already done, acknowledge the work we have to do, and the way forward to ensure the success of the People's Partnership. Let me just say, passage of time has an almost narcotic effect on the minds of our population, some of whom have already started to forget the demonic nature of the government of the past. We have started to forget what we came from, what this country was rescued from. I was rescued only because all of the good souls of this nation said, as Vassan reminded us, we must put our differences behind us. If you love this nation, you love Trinidad and Tobago, you must come together as one force to fight the evil of the PNM. I was given the greatest fortune to be accepted as a candidate for St. Augustine. I will honor every promise that I made as your candidate, and then you haven't given me your vote, your member of parliament for St. Augustine. I understand the Prime Minister is here, so I will stop for this moment as we welcome our Prime Minister. Honorable Prime Minister, it is always wonderful to have you in St. Augustine. I ask you to give our Prime Minister the warmest, most wonderful welcome to St. Augustine. Prime Minister, before you came, we're reminding ourselves of the evil that we were able to lift Trinidad and Tobago out of in May of 2010. And that was possible only because we were able to bring all of the forces of Trinidad and Tobago together to lift the hopes, to lift the expectations, and to lift the lives of every citizen of our great nation. Prime Minister, yesterday was Mother's Day, and I think it is really significant that we have the meeting in St. Augustine the day after Mother's Day, because it is my fervent view that every day in Trinidad and Tobago should be respected as a Mother's Day, because none of us would be here. None of us would have the strength, the energy, or the love and commitment to the future if we did not have the love of our mothers. And Prime Minister, you have shown what a mother's love can do to a nation. I remember, Prime Minister, before this great combination of forces of the COP, UNC, TOP, NJAC, and at the time MSJ came together. Children in this land were dying for want of medical attention that was available in foreign lands at cost of $2 and $3 million. I led a team to the Minister of Health under the PNM government, begging for some fund to be created so those lives could be saved. I could hardly imagine the pain of every mother, every father, every relative of a child whose life could have been saved, but was lost because the PNM did not have the vision of the creation of the Children's Life Fund. I am a proud member of the People's Partnership, that the very first act we did in the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago was approve the Children's Life Fund. The COP is extremely happy to participate in these noble ventures. We have already forgotten that awful thing called the property tax that the PNM wish to put as a yoke around our necks and a shackle on our homes. That there would come a time, some of us, if we should have fallen into hard periods, would be in a position where we were in fear of losing our homes. We started and we reached across Trinidad and Tobago with the Tax program, the UNC, the COP, and many others joined in that, and we were able to show that we could work together in the interest of our people. Many have already started to forget that. Many have already started to forget the possibility of a rapid rail of $25 billion expenditure up front and maybe $3 to $5 billion per year in recurrent expenditure, with an alignment of that route through the most densely populated areas of this country. To me, the sole purpose was to destroy communities. We were able in government, with a joint effort of the UNCCOP and our partners in the People's Partnership Government, to get rid of that. Minister of Education, how proud we are to have been part of the authority given by this cabinet for laptops for children. Many did not understand what it meant. As Vasan is telling you, his ministry and mine have worked together so that laptop for a child is a laptop for a family, and a laptop sometimes for the entire community. And there will come a time shortly, as we work today in the LRC, the leader of government business was there to bring legislation that will allow for any government service, anywhere in the world you are, to go onto your computer, and certainly laptops we have given to every community from Cedrus to Togo can be used so that you can access paying by credit card if you have to pay for things, and have it delivered to your home. These are the dreams that I had, and I became part of the People's Partnership Government, and these are the dreams that have already been fulfilled. There are many other things, and I could speak on and on about what work has been done in St. Augustine, and it would be wrong for me not to indicate some of that work. Let me just say, we have improved drainage in Jaffa Street, Temple Street, Mohan Street, Ratan Street, Nabi Street, Hussein Circular, the paving of Palm Drive, box drains in Northern Avenue, drainage in Orange Grove Road, correction of drainage in Bidesi Street, drainage and paving in Spring Village, paving of Ram John Street, Centenary Street, Gooley Street, Belfast Street, Morale Street, Mile Street, and I could go on and on and on. I want to say, because time is very limited, when I came as a candidate in St. Augustine, the greatest cry I heard everywhere I went was for the need to give comfort for those who lived on property they did not have legal title for. In consultation with the Prime Minister, we started a project in Tobago where for generations our brothers and sisters in Tobago lived in homes and in properties that they could not have legal title to, and they could not legally pass on to their children. We started that project successfully in Tobago. And today I want to say to the people of St. Augustine, thank you, Minister of Housing and the Land Settlement and the Land Management Agency. The issue of land tenants in Augustine is finally being dealt with. Work has already gone a long way in Bamboo 2 and Bamboo 3. And I am pleased to announce in St. Augustine South, here where we are now, work has already started, and within months, the dream, the hope will be realized. It was a fear of all that some unkind government could have removed them and taken away their land, taken away their property. But this government is people-centered, people-oriented. I want you to be comfortable in your home, and we are securing that. These are the physical things that we are doing. But more important than anything else, these things that I've mentioned are very, very important. But this country has seen systems that have been abused in generations gone. And in this government, we made a promise in the manifesto of 2010 to reform this nation. You cannot complain about the game if you are not willing to take the hard work to change the rules of the game. It is this government, COP, UNC, and our partners, who said enough is enough, and for the first time authorized the creation of procurement legislation. We speak of corruption. We speak of no value for the dollar. Your tax dollars, yours and mine, that we see flitted away. This government took a decision under the leadership of our Prime Minister to bring procurement legislation to Parliament. A joint select committee was created, and the leader of government business will tell you that the PM who now speaks about transparency and good governance, when they had a chance to participate, what did they do? They pulled out. They thought that by their absence, they will be able to disturb the work of the People's Partnership. We issued a notice that we set the date and the time. And you know what? We went ahead with the work. The work has been completed in the Joint Select Committee for procurement legislation. It is now before the Chief Parliamentary Council for drafting into law. This government is doing that. We are reforming the ways of corruption, we have heard of the problems we've seen, of the difficulties that our present constitution creates. It was a promise in the manifesto that we will bring constitutional reform. And by the grace of God, I'm deeply, deeply grateful, Prime Minister, to have been given the opportunity to chair the consultations for constitutional reform. I am pleased to announce tonight, Prime Minister, we have but one public consultation remaining to conclude that phase of the work. And in this term, we are promised to bring constitutional reform to the people of Tunapuna and Tobago. This is no small issue, because once we succeed with this, Trinidad and Tobago will never return to the old way for those gatekeepers and the old power players to take control of what you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, have a right. We will give you empowerment so that through referenda, because these are the things that people are telling us, that you get a chance to vote between election dates on important national issues. You remember when we said we wanted no smelter in Trinidad and Tobago? You remember what the Prime Minister then said? Take 3 with referenda. You, the people, will decide on these matters, and no government alone will be able to decide on matters of great national importance without you having a stake in it. Matters of whether we retain the Privy Council or we go to the Caribbean Court of Appeal as our final court. These are matters that have been raised as issues. The issue of proportional representation, so that no one having voted will feel because their party did not win that they are not empowered, so that Trinidad and Tobago will see an enlightened level of democracy never before seen. These are the hopes and ambitions that we have. As leader of the Congress of the People, I am extremely proud to participate in these things. And had it not been for the People's Partnership, none of the work we have already done, none of the work that we are doing, and none of the work we expect to do will ever have seen the light of day. So I could thank you and congratulate each and every one of you for making this great happen. I want to be very straight with you. Relationships are never easy to maintain. Relationships among political parties, many have said, was an impossibility. But we have proved them wrong. When they said not 1 month, not 1 year, not 2, not 3. We celebrate in a few days our 3rd anniversary. And I tell you what, we shall be together celebrating our 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. This is not to take for granted that the path is easy. Sustaining a partnership is difficult. Of course it is. We have stumbled before and we may stumble in the future, but we have not fallen and we shall not fall. Because the very future of this nation, and I do not speak in general terms, I speak about the future for ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren yet to be born, is literally at stake in this time, in this period. So we must walk very carefully, respecting each other, nurturing this relationship to ensure its long-term survivability. We have proved that we can have problems, but because we are committed and we love the people more than we love position or authority, we are able to endure whatever it takes to fulfill the expectation, the dreams of our nation. This is a burden we carry. This is called the burden of leadership. And many of us here have given our very lives to that end. Many believe it's an act of luxury to be a minister. It is not. Many of us have had a downgrade, not an upgrade, coming into government. But we do this because people must sacrifice. Every mother knows that nothing succeeds in a family unless there is sacrifice. One generation building upon the work of the last. This is a tradition that we have all enjoyed. This is a duty we must give the future generations. Prime Minister, we know in 2010, there was a snap election and there was a snap response. Negotiations for seats were done with a sense of urgency that this evil needed to be confronted. Now in this term, we must work through where we have more time, more mature deliberations to negotiate, to ensure that no partner in the partnership could ever feel in their heart or any supporter anywhere that they were not fairly treated. To that end, Prime Minister, I say that the negotiations for local government must begin, and very shortly they must begin. At the end of which, this people's partnership will be further strengthened. Nothing will betray other than us betraying ourselves. I want to say that if you can have, Prime Minister, no greater partner than the COP. Because what we say, what we promise, we deliver. And you can trust our word. Prime Minister, let me just say how happy I am that we have been able to endure, to have grown stronger. And a commitment as a leader of the Congress of the people, as long as we keep the common values and our eyes on our agreement, and we live towards the hope and ambition of our people, the love that we have for our people will be able to encounter any difficulty and overcome any of the problems that could be put in our way. Let us never stumble on the pebbles, keep our eyes on the stars, and make the nation that we want, the country that we've dreamed of. This is a time when we actually work and build towards them. As you know, it has been said you cannot predict your future, but I disagree. You can actually make your future by the decisions we take today and the actions that we commit ourselves to.